All right. Welcome for all of those who are with us right now to the Tech for Palestine community call. We are getting all of our systems set up and giving folks a chance to get logged in, and we'll be kicking off in the next minute or so. So hang tight. If you have any questions or are running into any issues, please don't hesitate to drop them in the chat wherever you are. We have people monitoring all of our different live streams. And yeah, we'll kick off shortly. See, folks are joining us on our different live streams and in Discord. Thank you for attending our May community call. We're going to get kicked off in just another couple of, just maybe 30 seconds or so. All right, let's do this. So welcome everyone to the Tech for Palestine community call. We're excited to have you. Hopefully you're getting logged in. We're excited to share our May update with you. For those that might be joining us for the first time, welcome. Tech for Palestine is a nonprofit focused on starting and scaling initiatives for Palestinian liberation. We support anyone with a meaningful idea, whether it's working against media censorship, using tech to aid in protests, scaling boycotts, pushing for tech divestment. So we support Palestinian entrepreneurs, leaders, and anyone that wants to contribute to a free Palestine. So we are recording and streaming the call on all of T4P's socials. So YouTube, LinkedIn, Discord, and we encourage our viewers to ask questions in the chat at any time. We are monitoring the chat, and so please don't hesitate to drop your questions or comments there. Today we have lots to cover, so I'm going to jump right in. We have Paul Bigger, our founder, speaking and giving us a general update of T4P and some things happening, both with our membership and other key things that we'll highlight. Tom will talk about the incubator and some really cool projects coming out of there. Afzal will give us an update on marketing. Really excited to welcome Bulos and Yemen to talk about watermelon tours, really cool new project, and I'll give a quick update on volunteering. So with that, I'm going to pass it to Paul.
Hey folks, so I'd like to kick us off today by taking a moment to remember someone who is very special in our community. Ajit was an active contributor to one of our Tech for Palestine incubator projects, Find a Protest, and many of us got to know Ajit through his work on Find a Protest, while others met him during our Barcelona event last month. So he was a strong advocate for Palestine, a friend, and an active contributor to the community, and our thoughts are with his friends, family, and everyone who knew him. I saw a lot of tributes to and notes about Ajit come through on many socials and chats. In particular, I know a lot of folks celebrated his birthday with him in Barcelona during our events there. I wanted to give a quick update about that event as well. So the Tech for Palestine held its third summit in Barcelona on the 11th of April. It was a really great success. There was 230 people there from all around the world, 30 speakers, 9 different workshops. On the stage, we had events that were Upscrolled was there, and Issam was on stage speaking about his experience. The Thora founders, Hani and Saeed were there, and many other folks. It was a really great event, and it went really well. We were talking about boycotting, role of big tech, scaling solidarity, and career opportunities, and lots of other different topics. We have another workshop coming up soon. So this isn't the big one, but this is just one of our speakers is attending the Stop Nakba Now Solidarity Camp in Germany. That's being held today. I guess it just ended actually. This is a really good talk about that talks about all of our work that we're doing across T4P. And gives a broader view as well of what's happening in the community. And we're hoping that we're going to be able to repeat this talk in many different places, many different workshops. And we're actually looking for some of our members to join and be able to join this team to be able to give this sort of workshop across the world. We are also having our next summit is coming up on June 6th in Brussels. This is going to be a super great summit. I'm really excited for this. We're going to have Diab Abu Jaja from Hindra Jab Foundation, which if any of you know the work, if any of you don't know the work of Hindra Jab Foundation, you should look it up right now. So I'm personally excited to see him speak, and also Marwa from Access Now, another person who has done incredible advocacy for Palestine historically, and I'm excited to see her as well. Registration is open. The event will be on June 6th, which is a Saturday. That's about 4 weeks from now. And we're going to have 11 speakers, 10 workshops, and you can sign up for the Brussels event now at the link that you can see in the chat. It's brussels2026.techforpalestine.org. We are also going to have a meetup corner on the same day as part of Muslim Tech Fest, which will be on in London. That meetup corner will be shared with Gaza Sky Geeks, who many of you will be familiar with, do incredible work on the tech side of things in Gaza. So that will be, if any of you are attending Muslim Tech Fest, you can find us there. And then finally, this is coming up soon. One of our big programs that we've been working on a lot of the year is our membership program. So we're planning on launching that later this summer. I know I've talked about it in many different calls leading up to now, but this is one of the big things we're working on, and it is really one of the ways that we are trying to scale up T4P. So we have the incubator, which helps us scale teams that are outside Tech for Palestine, and the membership program is helping us build and scale teams within Tech for Palestine. We currently have 80 members have signed up, and we currently have 30 teams that are active. And basically, this is one of the main ways that we want to get people involved in the movement, get people doing advocacy for Palestine, and it is also one of the best ways to donate to Tech for Palestine, even if you're not going to do work or you don't have the capacity right now. Joining as a member allows you to support our work that way. Some recent features that we have in the community, we have a new anonymity feature for members, where if you don't want your name to be known to other members, we can support that. And we have a profile and certain networking things. There was recently a brokered introduction group that was set up to get members to know each other. And that will be coming soon. Okay, so a couple of tech news things that's coming up. The Rights Forum is taking Booking.com to court. So this is one of the most interesting things that I've seen come up in the movement, and I predict that we're going to see a huge amount more of this. My understanding is that this is based on anti-money laundering laws, and that anti-money laundering laws basically, it is illegal to help move money that was the proceeds of a crime. And in basically every country in the world, the Geneva Convention is established law, and occupation, including almost everything in the settlements, is established law that is illegal. So almost any proceeds that comes from settlements, that comes from occupation, I don't know whether it can be applied to weapon sales, but these are things that we are starting to see advocates in the movement taking on, and it looks like there are some really good outcomes that have come from this, and some really good indicators. So we're excited about seeing that come up, and I recommend that folks read that article. It's a really interesting one about how they're going about it. The other discovery, this was actually discovered by Kate, our head of development, as this was a partner that we were working with had a form with the Tech for Palestine name on it, which actually went through Israel Gives, and it was branded as something else. It was branded as secured donation from a company that was pretending to be a completely separate company. I think it was called Giving Tech, but it had the exact same CEO, the exact same website, the same technology, the same IP address. Sort of everything is the same. They're just hiding themselves as a non-Israeli company. They're pretending to be an American company in order to sort of escape from the stigma and the shame of being Israeli and being associated with the genocide. If you ever come across a site that is using Giving Tech, be sure to reach out to the charity that is using that. They may be using it accidentally, because that's exactly how Israel is working going forward. Certainly the partner that we were working with was not aware of this, and when we made them aware, they immediately severed ties with the charity that was using this stack. And that is it for me.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate that. So now I want to hand it over to Afzal, who heads up marketing for us, for some marketing and community updates. Afzal?
Thanks, Azza. So happy to be here again. Last month, we skipped the community call because of the Barcelona event, and I really missed it. So yeah, I want to update you guys about some highlights, some marketing-related highlights of last month. And let's start with NASA. So as you know, there are a lot of tools today that tell you which products and which brands we should avoid. And of course, all these tools, they are super relevant, but we also need alternatives. And we also need trusted platforms. And what I mean by trusted platforms is platforms where we don't have to worry about buying unethical products. So NASA is such a platform. It's a project from the T4P incubator, and we launched it last month. It's basically a marketplace for consumer and lifestyle products. They just launched their platform in Canada, expanding to other countries soon, starting with the US. And it's not only for buyers, of course, also for sellers. So if you have consumer lifestyle products, and I'm sure that when you're here, you probably work for an ethical brand. So also when you sell products, reach out to the team of NASA, because this is where you can sell your products as well. So we launched it last month. There is a blog post. You can find it on all the social media channels. And I think that someone is also writing the link in the chat right now. Then next highlight is, News Court. So this is a very unique piece of work, if you ask me. And if this is the first time that you're joining our community call, then it's worth to mention that News Court is another project from the T4P incubator. And they published a report last month about UK media bias. And of course, we already know that mainstream media is biased, basically, right? Most outlets, they are beating around the bush when it comes to news about Palestine. But thanks to News Corp's report, now we have real data. So they basically analyzed approx 13,000 excerpts from 4 outlets in the UK. And by doing that, they made it visible how often these outlets try to hide that Israel is the perpetrator, or how often they spread doubt on the number of victims in Palestine, and many more conclusions like this based on evidence. So again, it's very unique. If you haven't seen it yet, you can find it on the website of News Corp, newscorp.org. There are also some call to actions in the report, so you can basically fill out a form just by entering your name and email and reach out to these 4 outlets to hold them accountable. And it's also worth sharing on your own social media network, of course. Then I would like to conclude my part of this presentation with some other highlights of last month. So usually when it comes to marketing, we talk about our projects, tech news, and events. But last month, we also started a campaign in which we want to tell a bit more about T4P, who we are, what we do, how we work. And we started with a post with a quick interview with Tom. In this interview, Tom explains very briefly from his perspective what T4P is, why we exist, and also what our impact is. It's very concise. There is a blog post, but you can also find the carousel on all the social media channels. We would really love you to share this on your own social media channels as well. And the other thing that we want you to reshare is, of course, the event in Brussels. Like 1 hour ago, I received a message from Eva with dozens of actions that I still need to work on to promote the event. But if you guys are going to share it on your social media networks today, maybe I can sit back and relax for the next few weeks. So yeah, please spread the word.
Great. Thank you so much, Afzal. Yeah, your help spreading the word and taking the action. I did the News Court action. Super simple, very easy to do. So it makes a difference when we can amplify this. Speaking of Tom, I'm going to hand it over to Tom now so he can talk to us and give us some updates on the incubator. Tom?
Great. Thank you, Azan. Thank you, Afzal. So yes, the incubator. What is the T4P incubator? The incubator is kind of the core of Tech for Palestine. So since the middle of 2024, what we have done is attempt to help people who are building projects that support Palestinian liberation scale and have impact in the world. So the way that we do that is we accept applications from anybody who has a project idea. We do a quick review of the application. We do an interview with the project leader. And then if we decide that we think that it has potential for having good impact and that it's a good fit and that we can actually help and that the project will benefit from our help, then we accept them into the incubator. And what that means is that we provide expert mentorship. We have live weekly office hours where you can drop in and talk about the state of your project or ask questions, any help you need. We give hands-on help. We can connect you to a large pool of volunteers. We have you can brand as a T4P project or not, and that's actually starting to be something that's coveted in the industry. I was speaking to somebody in the ecosystem last week, and he was saying that even though his project had been around for longer than Tech for Palestine, he really wanted to connect with Tech for Palestine because it had become like sort of an industry standard, like endorsement to be a Tech for Palestine project. So I thought that was pretty cool. We can help with marketing, social media, and we can give small grants to projects to help them fund their monthly operational expenses. So with all that being said, I'm going to now tell you about some of our new incubator projects, and there's quite a lot of them because, as Afzal mentioned, we didn't do a call last month, so this is basically 2 months of new projects that have joined. I have a list in front of me, and I'm going to go through them as quickly and clearly as possible by reading them. I would do it from the top of my head, but my memory just isn't what it used to be. So, okay. So with that being said, one of our new projects is DAO, and also I'm going to mutilate a lot of these project names, so be prepared for that. DAO is a platform to help Muslims build real economic power by backing founders from Muslim communities and providing access to curated private market opportunities. Med Support Gaza is a project that bridges healthcare gaps in Gaza and crisis regions by connecting patients with remote consultations and medicine finding services. And one thing I will note is we get a lot of questions about humanitarian or a lot of requests to do humanitarian projects, and there's some overlap. We are primarily an advocacy focused organization. So when there is a possibility for doing advocacy work in the humanitarian space, if we think that we can help scale and have impact with a humanitarian project, we will do that. But as a general rule, you'll find that most of our projects are focused on advocacy primarily, which is a distinction I only recently learned myself. So it's something worth looking up, like what's the difference between humanitarian and advocacy projects. But sorry for the little segue there, but I just thought that was important for tangent. Migrate off Vercel is a project to create simple guides and tools to help developers and organizations transition away from Vercel. In case you don't know, Vercel, recently the CEO of Vercel posted a picture of himself, I believe it was with Donald Trump. So we that was just one indication of the fact that they're kind of all in on the Zionist project. So we encourage migrating off Vercel. Media Bias Watch is leverages advertiser boycotts to combat media bias by exposing advertisers who fund harmful content, pressuring outlets to make better editorial choices. There's a number of different media bias. We talked about, or Afzal talked about News Cord. We have media bias meter. We have a relationship with the Accountability Archive, and there's a lot of different projects out there addressing bias in the media, because if you didn't notice, there's a lot of anti-Palestinian bias in the media. So MPrez is a Canadian civic action platform that lets users instantly find and contact their MPs with ready-made scripts. Multiple organizations can coordinate campaigns, and all actions feed into open aggregated statistics visible on a live dashboard. Naza, as Afzal mentioned, is a Canadian marketplace for lifestyle and consumer products from ethical brands. Every vendor is screened to ensure no ties to war profiteering, unethical labor practices, or harmful affiliations, so you can shop with confidence. ALDA is activating the Palestinian right of return for over 15 million people worldwide by enabling them to book their return to ancestral villages and towns from 5 key locations: Amman, Beirut, Larnaca, Port Said, and Jeddah. This is a really important project. It's really interesting. It's not. It sounds crazy because you're like, how do you book a travel back to a village when the right of return has not been recognized yet? But there's a method to the madness. It's worth checking out. Luella is an automated agent that removes your personal data from data brokers and social platforms and audits your exposure, submits opt-out requests at scale, and handles verification steps, including CAPTCHAs, and monitors for relistings, stopping spam, scams, and abuse at the source. Currently in public beta with 751 plus people protected. And this is obviously very valuable to activists and other people who are in the space or the movement who don't want to be tracked, as well as, of course, just anybody who doesn't want to be tracked. ScholarPal is an app and resource hub helping Palestinian students find scholarships, track application statuses, and manage deadlines in one place. Veriscope, a blockchain-backed marketplace delivering trustworthy, licensed eyewitness media directly from sources to help organizations combat misinformation and restore confidence in online content. Gaza Bridge Logistics, the operational backbone for international organizations working in Gaza, providing end-to-end logistics and on-the-ground execution that turn high-impact initiatives into transparent, professionally managed programs. Maser Arts is a pioneering digital hub unifying and elevating Palestinian culture by connecting global producers, arts organizations, and independent creatives in one platform, strengthening a fragmented ecosystem and empowering Palestinian talent to thrive. And last but not least, Watermelon Tours, who is actually here to introduce their project to us today. It's a Palestine travel platform that connects travelers directly with local guides for authentic, unfiltered experiences. To meet locals, hear their stories, and understand the reality on the ground, and ensure your money supports Palestinian guides, drivers, hosts, and businesses directly. And that one I'm really looking forward to. I did a call with Bulos, who you will hear from soon, to discuss my own interest in going to visit Palestine, and really looking forward to being able to do that one day. So without further ado, I'll hand it off to
Great.
Bulos.
And yeah, so I'll just say a couple of quick things, Tom. So I see we're getting questions, and that's great. We're going to spend some time at the end going through any questions that weren't answered in the Q&A or in the chat. So keep them coming. We're not going to forget about you. And Vercel's CEO was pictured with Netanyahu.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah, so yeah, without further ado, I'm super excited to introduce Budos, who is the project leader on Watermelon Tours. He spent 30 years in Palestine, played for the Palestinian League for 8 years, and he's going to talk to us about the travel platform experience that he's building. Yeah, so without further ado, all yours.
Thank you so much. Before anything, I'd like to thank T4P for the spotlight. I really do appreciate it. My name is Bulos Shakur. I'm from Jerusalem, Palestine. I grew up in a village called Ram in the West Bank, and then my family moved to East Jerusalem. And a few years later, in 2006, the wall was built, and suddenly, visiting family became a lot harder. Checkpoints just became part of my daily life because also my school was on the other side. And growing up in Jerusalem meant growing up around tourism. I saw tourists coming from everywhere and guides showing them the city. And I quickly realized that whoever controls the tour often controls the narrative and what people see and what people don't see. It's a really big global industry, and it's controlled by the Zionist tourist trail. So I'm trying to build an alternative. And Watermelon Tours is personal for me. I mean, it comes from my life, my background, my frustrations, and of course, the hope that people can visit Palestine through the Palestinian guides, homes, food, stories, and the daily life. And for me, Palestine is not only politics, it's obviously the food, the streets, the stories, the hospitality, and of course, the main thing is the people that are surviving and thriving. And that is the Palestine I want travelers to meet. Next slide, please. The first challenge that I'm facing is that many people simply don't know how to visit Palestine. They might care about Palestine, but when it comes to actually going, they don't know where to start. I get asked questions like, can I go? Is it safe? Where do I stay? Do I fly to Tel Aviv? Do I go to Jordan? Can I visit the West Bank? What happens at checkpoints? Who can I trust? What should I avoid? And when a person has that many unanswered questions, they usually don't continue to the next step. Even if they really want to go, the uncertainty stops them. And Watermelon Tour solves this by creating a sort of structured, supported experience. And instead of making people figure out things on their own, we're providing an itinerary, local guidance, pickups, safety briefings, of course, and support throughout the trip. The second challenge is safety. A lot of people are interested in visiting Palestine, but they feel quite nervous. Sometimes that fear is based on real concerns, and sometimes it's from the media narratives. Either way, the fear is there for the traveler. So my goal is not to pretend like everything is simple or easy. It's to be honest, prepared, and supportive. So that means giving people clear information before they arrive. It means explaining what to expect. It means having local guides like Yaman, who's joining us. It means making sure people know that they're not alone. And the third challenge is the narrative control. A lot of tourism in the area is controlled by Zionist agencies. So a lot of people visit Palestinian places, but the story is not told by Palestinians. And this project here puts Palestinian guides, homes, food, stories, and experiences at the center. So the goal is not only to bring people to Palestine, but to make sure that the whole experience will be Palestinian-led. Next slide, please. About the project, it's a Palestinian-led travel platform for people who want to visit Palestine in a safe and meaningful way. I want people to come experience Palestine as humans, not as tourists. That means the trip should not only be about, the famous sites and taking pictures. Of course, people should see Jerusalem, Bethlehem, all the religious sites, but I want the experience to go deeper than that. I want the travelers to meet the people, to eat in homes, to hear stories, walk through the cities and villages with people who actually live there, and of course, know where their money is going and who benefits from their visit. And the first version of the website was built more like an Airbnb style platform for tours. I thought travelers wanted to choose the guide they liked, see some reviews, the languages, and book directly. I had already set up 10 guides and 25 tours, but recently with the latest Iran-Israel war, the server I had the data on got hit and I lost all the data. And at first that kind of felt like a setback, but now I see it as a blessing in disguise, because while that was happening, I was doing interviews with people who have considered visiting Palestine. And those interviews made me realize that the original marketplace idea may not be the best direction. And through talking to Paul and Ahab in the office hours, I realized I kind of built too much before understanding my client or my travelers. I learned that people don't want to sit comparing 20 different tours and figuring things out themselves. They want just a trusted source to prepare the experience for them. They want someone to think through everything from safety to logistics to the whole experience. So now the main focus is shifting towards 7 to 14-day package trips. Later in the future, I also want the website to include deeper information about the Palestinian cities, their original names, the history, a couple of local stories. But for now, the focus is to build the first package trips. Next slide, please. And I think it's still loading, but I'll continue talking. Right now, my first goal is to complete 50 user interviews. I know I still need to learn more before building the first package properly. I don't want to create a trip based only on what I think people want. I want to create it based on what travelers actually need, what scares them, what excites them, what confuses them, and what would make them, feel ready to book. And the people I most want to speak to are people who have actually considered visiting Palestine. Not just people who support Palestine, we love that, but I want to speak to people who could actually imagine going there. The second goal is obviously to use those interviews to design the trip. The first package would definitely include places like Jerusalem, Bethlehem, the Dead Sea, the West Bank, of course, including local homes, the meals, the daily life, the political reality, history, and culture. And the deeper goal of my project is to support the Palestinian economy. I want the visit to directly support the Palestinian guides, the families, the homes, the drivers, restaurants, and small businesses. I want money to be spent over there. And from the interviews, I also learned that people want flexibility. So I don't want the package to feel like a strict school trip where every minute is controlled. The main structure will be fixed and trustworthy, but there will be one or two more open days where people have suggestions and options, but of course have the freedom to do what they want. The third goal is to find travelers for a possible first trip around the end of August. That is the first real milestone. I want to go from idea to real people taking a real trip. And long term, the goal is much bigger. I want watermelon tours to become the main place people go to when they're thinking about visiting Palestine, whether they're coming because of religion, politics, culture, history, solidarity, or just curiosity. I want them to know that there's a trustworthy Palestinian led platform that can help them do it. So the short-term goal is interviews and the first tour, first package, and the long-term goal is to build the main Palestinian-led travel platform for visiting Palestine. And I want you to hear for 2 minutes from one of the people this project is actually meant to support. This is Yemen, a watermelon tourist Palestinian guide. Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, Ahlan.
Ahlan wa sahlan. Thanks, Bullis, for introducing me to this event. And first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Yamin. I'm a Palestinian refugee. I'm a third generation. My grandparents, they kicked out in 1948 from a place called Sara, which is like it's very close to Tel Rabia, which is they call it now Tel Aviv, or close to Beit Shemesh. I have only been once into my grandparents' village. It's already occupied, and there's like one kibbutz, I believe, over there. And yeah, I don't live in a refugee camp, but my father was born in a refugee camp in Bethlehem. We have like three refugee camps here in Bethlehem. One of them is called Dehesha. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the names. Dehesha is the biggest refugee camp in Bethlehem area, not in the West Bank, but in the city of Bethlehem. We have like three refugee camps. So I grew up in a town which is like a suburb of Bethlehem. A town's called Beit Sahur, and I joined like okay, I left the country when I was like 20 years old. I went to Canada and I got struggle. I couldn't come back because of the second uprising, second intifada. Then I came back in 2005, 2006. 2007, I started doing like a graffiti tours. 2007, 8, 9, I started doing political. After like, like doing some graffiti tours, I started doing like some political tours. So I had to study on my own and doing like some research. And I met a lot of interesting people. And I used to go to like organizations to educate myself about the whole situation. And I realized the truth or the real story, it's not out of Palestine. Like a lot of people who live abroad, they don't know the reality. So being a tour guide is such a nice thing to educate people about the life under heavy Israeli military occupation. And what else? Actually, Bulls have covered almost everything. Yeah, bringing people here to Palestine to show them the reality, to introduce them to like families, to organizations, to educate them about the daily life. That's something like makes me proud of doing it. It's a lot of Palestinians. I realize they're afraid to talk politics for like political reasons, and a lot of people that I know recently got arrested by like publishing something on social media. It's shifting actually. It's getting worse now. They're watching everyone. They're like targeting people who are using social media for political reasons. If you put like on something that they don't like, you might get arrested for that. A few days ago, the military army arrived on the front of my house, and my cousin called me because I live in an area where I'm surrounded by like some relatives. One of my cousins, he got arrested like recently, because his son, 11 years old, he wrote something about Gaza, and they arrested his father, of course, but he got released after 2 days, and he didn't talk that much about what they did to him, and yeah, the situation is really, really scary these days over here in Palestine, but we are not afraid. You know, we have a right to talk about our struggle, and we have a right to talk about the situation, and we need people from like in general from all over the world to visit us and learn and see with their, you know, the best way to learn about the struggle to be here physically, you know, to visit families as Paul said, and to visit some sites that the media doesn't cover. You know, in many areas here in Palestine, if you use your phone to with like, let me make it more clear. Where I live like in the town of Beit Sahur. A few months ago, the settlers decided to build like a settlement, like next to our house. And one of our neighbors took a video, like he started to record them, and he got attacked by settlers. He was like very close, so they kept following him and they start shooting in the air. So he had to stop. He thought they're going to shoot him, and he was beaten up by settlers. So you cannot like video or record things when that thing happened. You know, it's scary, real scary. But we are not afraid. We gonna keep talking until the whole world know the reality and truth about the situation over here in Palestine. So there's like two
Thank
types
you.
of over here. There's a lot of tourists. They come for religious purpose, and unfortunately, they leave without. Most of them they don't care. The people who come for religious sites, they visit the religious sites and they leave
Okay.
without about the situation here in Palestine. The second type of tourists, they are not very much religious. They come on a alternative, or they come on a political tours to see the reality. They to learn about the Palestinian struggle, and our job to show them and to educate them about the reality, like to take them on a tour, to make them meet people, and introduce them to like organizations, to eat lunch with the Palestinian family. And I was suggested that to do also like a homestay, like people they can stay with the Palestinian family to learn
Sure.
about the daily life of the Palestinians under Israeli occupation. So I started doing tours in
Thank
2000, actually when Banksy was here. By chance, I was drivers, and no, actually I was the only driver, and I drove them around, and I started getting phone calls, and my name was mentioned on some of the travel guidebooks, and people they start, you know, like contact me because that book has my name, I think, and my number, and from one to one, you know, this how it became like a popular Banksy tour guide. But of course,
you.
graffiti tours mostly I focus on the situation in Palestine. Usually, I take people to see the upper wall, and with the maps, I explain to them, you know, the you know how they how the Israelis they confiscated the Palestinian land and they start building the wall randomly. They didn't follow the green line, and
Thank
the
you,
wall.
Yemen. We're gonna have to continue the thing. We will
Yeah,
continue.
actually, I'm
Okay,
seeing
so
a lot of. I get just bites by mosquitoes, man. Like I don't know what happened. They just
sorry about that. All
So
right,
beautiful
so
to
I'm
hear.
just gonna go to the demo real quick.
yeah,
So the main message here is to visit Palestine as a human, not a tourist. The sentence is really important. It kind of captures the feeling of the project. Many
yes,
tourists kind of see a site, take a picture, hear a short explanation, but a human experience kind of goes to who lives here, what do they experience, what do they want me to understand, where does my money go, whose story am I hearing? The website is still evolving, and of course, it's going to include the package trips once I complete enough interviews. Next slide, please. The way you can help now is most important, most helpful use is the interviews. I'm looking for people who've seriously considered visiting Palestine or people who know someone who has. I just need 20 or 30 minutes of their time just to understand what they want from a trip, their fears, what kind of itinerary would feel meaningful to them. So if you've ever wanted to visit Palestine, I'd love to speak with you. Or if you're in a community, whether it's a church, a mosque, a student group, a solidarity group, an activist network, anyone who says, I would go if I knew how, that's the biggest thing I need right now. Of course, follow the social media. Next slide, please. And this is just a thank you. I want to thank Shhadis Arhan. He's one of my best friends. He's Palestinian from Nazareth who built everything for me. And I want to thank Tech for Palestine because they helped me take things slower and do it right. And to close, just to wrap things up, Watermelon Tours is not just a project for me. It comes from growing up in Palestine, seeing how tourism works, seeing how often Palestinian voices are pushed aside, and just wanting to build something that lets people visit in a more honest way. I don't want people only to see Palestine through headlines and fear. I want them to meet Palestinians, eat with Palestinians, walk with them, listen to them, and just mainly understand the place through the people who live there. Thank you very much.
How beautiful, Bulios. And you could see it really comes from the heart. And what a beautiful way to make these meaningful connections in such an intimate way, and bringing in folks like Yemen and others to help build those bridges. So wish you all the best. If someone is interested, but not on Discord, how should they get a hold of you?
The website is the easiest way. There's a talk to us button that you can just click. You can leave your email, your phone number is optional, and you can leave a message for me, or you could book an interview right away. It takes it to my Calendly, and then we will speak. And yeah, that's the easiest way, I would think.
Perfect. Well, and I hope our global community takes you up on that offer. Hopefully we won't overwhelm you, but
Inshallah.
I know myself personally, I've been dreaming of visiting, and this would be a really cool way to get a little intro into it. Of course, it's not like being there on the ground, as Yemen said, but what a beautiful way to connect with real people. So yeah, thank you. Wish you all the best, inshallah.
Thank you so much. Thank you again for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Okay, so a couple more updates. I'll share a little bit of what's going on with volunteering for those of you that are looking for ways to get involved and directly contribute, either directly to projects like Watermelon Tours or the others that we've talked about by volunteering your time, or by becoming a member and supporting some of the initiatives that we're driving internally, and advocacy projects and just internal infrastructure projects and all kinds of things that we drive internally to help support and scale our ecosystem. So there are so many ways to get involved depending on how much time you have, what you're interested in. You can also, we have lightweight things you can do. You can join Mighty Missions if you're looking for kind of small but really impactful actions you can do on a regular basis that shouldn't take more than 10 or 15 minutes of your time. We have a Discord, a Mighty Missions channel. We also have a Signal group. We'll drop all this information in the links below. These are all really valuable, impactful ways to join and help, be generous with your knowledge and expertise in supporting others trying to do really important work. As you saw from what Tom shared, it's incredible to see the diversity of projects and the passion and different areas we're really trying to tackle a problem that is so large. And so reliable, dependable hands are always welcome. I'll give some very specific examples of things we can use now if you have the time. If you're going to be in Barcelona or you're close by, you could consider volunteering at the conference. It's if you have event planning, or I'm sorry, I said Barcelona, I was just there. Brussels is what I meant to say. If you're going to be in Brussels on June 6th or are considering it, we need people with all kinds of general event management support, whether it's signing people in at registration, helping keep the agenda on track, working with presenters and speakers, to things like social media support, photography support. So if you have the time and you're available to dedicate the day, please reach out to us. Volunteering at techforpalestine.org, or submit your volunteer form and let us know it's for the Brussels event. We'd love to have you, and you would get a ticket as well. So, all right, current volunteer needs. We talked about the Brussels event. Social media and content managers, this is something I probably bring up most of the time we talk. We continue to grow our projects, the number of projects we support, and social media matters. So helping us get the word out there. If you're skilled, whether you're a social media manager, a content expert, you know, there's a lot of different areas in social media. If you have any of these skills, please consider volunteering with us, submitting a form. You could check out our website too for very specific positions needed by project. But having that capacity in our talent pool, if you're available to help, is you know, would go such a long way for our projects that need the extra support. Online event operations, we continue to do more of our community call, but we're also hosting other online events and workshops across the globe in different time zones. So if you are available and can help support the online events team with just things like managing StreamYards or Zoom or whatever platforms we're using, making sure, you know, technically things are happening, or monitoring chats behind the scenes, all of these areas are important to make sure we're able to show up professionally and deliver really good content and experiences for our users. So that's another area we could use some extra support in. We're also more and more, we're seeing a need for finance and fundraising professionals. And so this is something, if you have experience in finance, in accounting skills, whether it's advice or helping with some, you know, very specific questions, or grant writing and fundraising in general, these are areas that several of our projects and T4P continue. You know, the stronger our bench, I think the better and more effective we can uncover and identify opportunities here that could really accelerate some of the work we're doing. Yeah, all of our projects that, you know, our needs change. We constantly have, you know, different positions, new projects to work on. So the best way to be considered for these opportunities, or to kind of understand what's going on, join as a volunteer, join as a member, check out our website to see what the latest positions are. But when you're in our database, whether as a member or a volunteer, we have your information, we understand your background, and it allows our team to match you to roles that we think might be a good fit, and we'd contact you and share more and give you the opportunity to, you know, to potentially apply for that position if it sounds like it's a good fit for you. So I encourage you to do that. We talked about a couple of these roles, which are always high in demand. I'll mention the graphic designer role as well, because that's another one where a lot of our projects need help, whether it's logos or cool graphic designs that are appealing to, you know, the intended audience. So these are just a couple of things. If you have these skills, please consider applying. And there's lots of ways that you can help, you know, you could support. You could fill out your volunteer form. You could email us if there's a specific position you're interested in. If volunteering maybe isn't for you at this time, consider, you know, donating if you have the means to. Join our Discord. We have access to the different incubator projects that we do, access to just real-time updates from the Tech for Palestine team. And you can also follow us on our socials. We actively manage them. We try to post relevant, meaningful updates and information to our community. And you can help us amplify the message. As Afzal was saying earlier, you resharing, retweeting something, amplifying the word, spreading the message about some of the really good work that's happening, or some of the really bad things that are happening, to make people aware. But these are all ways that you can help us expand our reach and grow and really accelerate what we're all trying to do here. So with that, before I wrap up, I'll just check with the team. I know there were some questions that were coming in the chat. Make sure they were all answered, and if they weren't answered, I'll make sure we were able to do that. So were there any questions that were unanswered that we need to cover? Throw that out there to my team behind the scenes. Okay. So I think, oh, Budos, I think there's a question that you were going to cover for us. Thank you.
Yeah, I see the questions from Ed Wolf. Is there Jewish-Israeli collaboration, including the 20% population of Israelis who are Palestinian? There's no collaboration with Jewish Israelis. There is, however, collaboration with Palestinians who live in occupied Palestine. I'm one of them. And so there are Palestinian guides, and the trip will include places like Sea of Galilee, Nazareth. Jerusalem is obviously considered under the Israeli sovereignty, but the trips will include that. Someone like Yemen will not be the guide for there, but I have Palestinian guides who are ready for that trip. So it's going to be a split for both.
Great, thank you. And it looks like one other question, and I might need support from the team. Paul, if he's available potentially. Do we have abilities to help a workspace, to provide a workspace for freelancers and students in Gaza? I'll see if we still have, there we go. Thanks, Paul.
So there are quite a number of workspaces. Hope Hub is one that comes to mind. Takat is another. We used to work with Takat a little bit, but that isn't something that we're directly working on. But those do exist, and Palestinians are continually creating those incubators and workspaces.
Great, thank you so much. I believe that was all the questions we had. So before I wrap up, I just want to say a big thank you to all the team, both on stage and behind the scenes, that help us, make this all possible, including all the project leaders. And Bulos and Yemen, thank you for sharing, so passionately about your project as well. And our behind the stage crew that makes this look so flawless. So thank you so much, Mar, Matt. I know I'm missing someone. Jenna, I'm sure there's others. So thank you. And we will see you all next time in June, inshallah. Thanks, everyone.
Inshallah. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye, all.